Thank you, Chairman Tonko. Environmental justice is not a new problem, but it's a very serious problem, and communities across the nation have been impacted disproportionately by environmental hazards, and the disparity continues. I want to ask the two EPA witnesses, do you think that someone's zip code should determine the environmental hazards that they face? You just say yes or no if you like.
No, sir.
And Ms.
Absolutely not, sir, and our mission is targeted to that end.
All right, let me just go through these and you can say yes or no. What about their income?
No, sir.
Our civil rights laws don't apply to income, but personally, no.
Okay. And race or ethnicity?
No, sir.
Absolutely not.
Thank you. Do you think that EPA is doing enough to address disproportionate toxic exposures? I'll ask the two of you again.
Thank you for that question. EPA is committed under the Executive Order 1298 to not only promote environmental justice, but adhere to the executive order. Since 1994, EPA, including the colleagues in the Office of Environmental Justice and around the agency, are committed to ensuring that not only communities, but those most vulnerable have clean air, clean water. Thank you so much.
Would you, I would ask you though, do you think they're doing enough? Could they do more? What more could they do?
Thank you for that question. There's always more to do. The agency, again, is committed under the executive order to do all that it can to promote environmental justice.
Well, let me ask the other witness. I mean, do you think that EPA could do more, and you want to give me some areas where they could do more?
I think we can always do more, and I think that now that our office has cleared its overage docket, we are much better poised to meet the demands of new and incoming complaints that raise civil rights issues with respect to vulnerable populations on the basis of race, color, or national origin.
Thank you. Well, let me ask Mr. Gomez, do we even have the metrics to know if EPA and other agencies are doing enough to address environmental justice?
So that was one of our findings of our report, is the need to have really good performance measures. Now, EPA does have 4 performance measures. Like one of those is to decrease the exposure to particulate matter, decrease the exposure to lead in drinking water, and I believe in their annual report from 2017, they did have figures that had gone down. And so, but I mean, that's what we want agencies to have, right? We want them to have good performance measures that they can then see how well they're doing year after year in terms of the progress that they're making.
All right. Let me ask about the states and the role EPA can play in striving for environmental justice in state-level decision-making. Many of our environmental laws rely on states taking the primary enforcement role, as you know, and it's not enough for us to look only at what the federal government does. Let me ask Ms. Wooden-Aguilar, how does your office work with states that have primary enforcement authority to pursue environmental justice?
Thank you for that question. I can only speak to the Office of Environmental Justice and what that office has done. Specifically in FY19 and even before then, our Office of Environmental Justice works very closely with states. Most notably, we, this fiscal year and into last year, hosted a statewide training with over 1,500 participants, including states partnering, talking about environmental justice, our screening tool, as mentioned by GAO, EJ Screen, and other important topics. Thank you for that question. I can't speak to that specific topic, but I'd be happy to follow up with our Office of Congressional Affairs to provide you more information.
All right. Are there any requirements in place to ensure that states give frontline communities a voice in rulemaking and permitting?
Our Office of Policy, where I work, has an action development process, and this process is the process for rulemaking. EJ is considered, along with other executive orders and statutes, as a part of that process. For more information about how EJ is considered into the rulemaking, We have a docket online which expounds on that topic, but I'd be happy to follow up with our Office of Congressional Affairs on that question.
I'd appreciate that if you could follow up on those things. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.